Every time you think we've hit rock bottom, believe me, we haven't. It can definitely get worse. This is a great example of that right here. So Craig Whitlock is an investigative reporter for the Washington Post. And listen to this story. Documents show former boss of National Security Agency received $700,000 contract from Saudi Prince MBS Cyber College after Khashoggi slaying. Pentagon had fought to keep money a secret. So the former head of the NSA is bought and owned by the theocratic dictator in Saudi Arabia. So here's what they say in the Washington Post. Retired Army General Keith Alexander, who led the NSA under Presidents Barack Obama and George W. Bush, secured $2 million in consulting deals with foreign governments after leaving office, including a $700,000 contract to advise Saudi Arabia on cybersecurity after the 2018 killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, newly released records show. Alexander's consulting firm also won a $1.3 million contract from the government of Japan to provide advice on cyber issues, according to additional documents obtained by the Washington Post as part of a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit. Details of those lucrative contracts are among records disclosed by the Pentagon for the first time about retired generals and admirals who have leveraged their military service over the past decade to obtain work from foreign governments. The disclosures by the Pentagon came in response to the Post's lawsuit and demands from Congress, which has scheduled a hearing on the issue Wednesday. Listen to this. In an investigation last year, the Post found that more than 500 retired U.S. military personnel, including scores of generals and admirals, had accepted employment from foreign governments, mostly as contractors in countries known for human rights abuses and political repression. Under federal law, retired service members must obtain permission before they can accept any compensation from foreign powers out of concern that the payments could compromise their allegiance to the United States. The U.S. government withheld virtually all information about the foreign jobs until the Post won a 2-year legal battle with the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marine Corps, and the State Department. So let me put this in layman's terms for you. Our top intelligence people and our top military people have routinely been selling out to hostile, human rights abusing foreign governments, and then the military apparatus bent over backwards to cover it up. And by the way, credit to the Post, if they didn't sue and the court didn't say, yeah, you can release this, you know what would have happened? Somebody would have leaked it, and that person would be treated like an enemy, exactly like Julian Assange, exactly like Edward Snowden, exactly like Chelsea Manning was. That's what would have happened. And there would have been a media orgy about how evil the leaker is. Well, guess what? This is exactly the type of stuff that should have never been classified in the first place. But I'll go further, that never should have happened in the first place. Guys, our country has a major, major weakness. That weakness is all of the elites are clearly for sale. There is no honor. There is no patriotism. There is no core belief in doing what's right. There are no laws that incentivize that you can't go down that path. We have a system where our top admirals, our top generals, our top intelligence officials are literally selling out the country as a matter of standard operating procedure. That's what you just heard right here. That's what you just heard. This is incredible. It's incredible, man. Reading stories like this, you wonder how we ever got to be the world superpower, right? Because we certainly don't act like it. We certainly don't act like it. I mean, this is astonishing stuff. Let me ask you a question. How many of these 500 people have disclosed genuinely sensitive information? Stuff that should really be classified to these hostile human rights abusing foreign nations. How many of these people work for Israel? How many of these people work for Saudi Arabia? Maybe we'll get those numbers eventually. What exactly have they disclosed? What exact information has been sold to these people? Why is Saudi Arabia paying for this guy's services? Why are they doing it? We all know why they're doing it. They want that very, very sensitive information to use as leverage over the United States government Same with all the other countries that are involved in this. And they want the political connections to further get their roots in the circle of elites that run this country. Nobody is ever making any decisions in leadership in this country based on what's good for the people. Everybody is for sale. This is astonishingly disheartening and immensely corrupt and honestly an embarrassment. I am perfectly comfortable referring to this stuff here as treason. This is total treason. I see that this is like the most straightforward definition of it I could ever imagine. Why should it even be legal for these people to do this? And by the way, nobody would bat an eyelash. I'm sure many of these people with these consulting firms getting bought off by theocratic dictators doing their bidding, I'm sure they've appeared in the media, they've written articles about, actually, these places aren't even all that bad. They have a great tourism industry, and they're really changing things for the better. I have no doubt that's what's going on. And you wonder why people, look, this is why people have lost trust in our institutions. Because the institutions have given people reason to distrust them. I wish that wasn't the case. I genuinely believe for a strong country to function properly, you need to have good institutions, and the people need to trust those institutions. That's the only way in the long run that this thing can work out. But we don't have trustworthy institutions, so the people rightly don't trust the institutions. Then we hear about a story like this, and this is in and out of the news in a brief amount of time. Nobody's going to talk about it on mainstream media, and nobody's going to do anything about it. Again, credit to the Post for suing to get this information to legally now be released. But, like, this can't be the end of it. And are they going to pass new laws? It's like the revolving door with the corporate world. How, politicians end up working in government, doing the bidding of corporations, then they leave and go work for the corporations and cash in because they sold out when they were making the decisions. There's the revolving door in that world, and then there's also the revolving door for the intelligence agencies and the military people, and it literally has to do with selling out to the worst people in the world. All of the language about the U.S. cares about freedom and democracy and human rights around the world, and we're the world's policemen. That's what we're doing. All bullshit. Nothing's ever been more bullshit, and there's never been a clearer example of it right here. If you're our ally, and you pay off our top people, we will pretend like you're democratic and human rights respecting and pro-freedom. You could be objectively not those things, and we'll just overlook it. We'll just propagandize and pretend like you are that. Saudi Arabia was doing a genocide in Yemen. They behead people in the public square. Women have next to no rights. They're brutally repressive. They lock people up literally for Twitter posts. Throw them in jail. Throw them in a cage. And we have people on their payroll doing their bidding. Instead of doing the right thing, instead of fighting for what's right, it's disgusting. This is what these guys do with their power, man. 500 retired U.S. military personnel. By the way, this doesn't even include, they're not even bringing up the retired U.S. military personnel who go to work for Raytheon or Boeing or any of the Honeywell, the big military industrial complex, so-called defense contractors. Almost all those guys are on the payroll of those people. Then they go on TV and say, oh, here's why we definitely need war with Syria. This is the way the system works. It's grotesque. It's rotten from the core. And everybody needs to understand that. Everybody needs to wrap their mind around it. You have to put a stop to this stuff, man. Jesus Christ. It's almost corrupt beyond imagination, right? Like, you couldn't AI generate a more corrupt scenario, and here it is in real life. All right, guys, that is the show for today. Again, quick little program reminder for y'all. If you're listening to this, I am already on my honeymoon at the moment with Crystal. We just got married this past weekend, and this is the first time in a long time I'm away for basically a week from the show, but fear not. We got Kyle and Corin dropping for you. We just, got this bonus show that I'm doing before the fact here for you, and maybe we'll even have some other things. So stay tuned on the YouTube channel. Stay tuned on Spotify to the Kyle Kulinski Show. I may be temporarily on a break and gone on the honeymoon, but I'm not gone. I'm never gone. I'm always lurking. So anyway, love y'all. Remember, my shameless plugs as follows. You know the drill. Click the like button, leave a comment. Click the subscribe button, man. I know we're over 1 million. We passed that big old benchmark. We got to get over the next one. Got to get to 2 million eventually. I don't know. Do you get a plaque for 10 million? You might get a plaque for 10. Let's aim for that. Let's get 10 million subs. Tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who watch the show who don't subscribe. Just click that subscribe button. It helps me out. It makes me love you. It costs you nothing. So I'd really appreciate that. Click that bell icon so you get a notification every time a video drops. And that's all I got for you. Support the show on Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Support the show, Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack as well. So there we have it, y'all. I love you very much. I'll talk to all of you soon. I'm out. Peace. Hey, y'all. Do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.